going on, everybody? Today on Cooking for College, I'm doing a very quick, fast, easy, healthy meal. I'm just wanted to doing this for all the people in the Disney College program. Just want to say hey to Wendell. What's going on? Had a lot of fun shooting with you. Every couple times we've done it, and I just wanted to show you all a nice, quick, easy, healthy meal that you can do on the go. Very simple. I was in Disney last week. I did this for me and Kira's whole family. We had a lot of fun with it, and everybody put different stuff on it. Kira ate hers with noodles. You can do it with rice. You can throw it in spaghetti. You can throw it in a taco. You can put cheese on it. I'm just going to show you real quick. And it's all veggies, and instead of oil or butter, I just use water to preheat it, because then you don't have to buy oil, and it's a lot healthier for you. And as you can see, I've got steam coming, nice big pan. I've got water on very, very hot, like boiling very rapidly. I'm going to start with some mushrooms. You know, you can add and subtract whatever you want. You can add and subtract whatever kind of veggie you want, whatever you prefer. Today I have mushrooms, squash, cucumbers, zucchini, spinach is a good filler. You can dump right on top. It wasn't on sale today, so I didn't buy any. Whatever's on sale, you can buy, and you just slice it up like this. Nice circle. Throw it in there. The mushrooms have to go in first. They take the longest. Let those go for a couple minutes. They're going to take a little longer than everything else. If you have a top, that'll speed up the process. You can throw a top on there. I don't have a top for this big of a pan, so I just leave it on nice and hot, and they'll go for a couple minutes. Alright, so the mushrooms have been going for about 3-4 minutes on boiling through, and whenever I do the mushrooms in the water, I always take the mushrooms out and I dump them over here and let them rinse for a second. I just dump them in a quick strainer over here in the sink, kind of rinse them off. Now I throw that right back on the heat, and I always have a cup of this water sitting right here, and I dump that right there. Okay, now you can throw everything else in together, because everything else, except for spinach, if you're using spinach, you throw that in last. But everything else is good to go right now. So I'm going to take my squash, dump that in there, let that go. Take my cucumbers, dump those on there, let those cook with it. And I'll see now my pan is getting pretty full, so I'm going to wait for the zucchini to go in a second. Let this all get going pretty good. Needs a little more water. Alright, here we go. Alright, and about Wendell. Wendell is the first known college talk show host. He has his own show on UGA campus. It's a great show. I've been on it a couple of times. We've had a lot of fun. He's like a college Oprah is what he calls himself. I guess he thinks very highly of himself, that Wendell. But so I just wanted to give him a quick, fast, easy meal that I just did in Disney, and I know he's going to live down there for a little while. So might as well help him out, because I know he's not very good at cooking. He had trouble with fluff, which is just a mixing dessert. It was really very simple, and it kind of freaked him out with the goo and the whipped cream and marshmallow. I don't know. If you meet Wendell, you'll understand what I'm saying about him. But he found out about me because he saw me in the newspaper up in Athens, and I've been doing this for a little less than a year, just doing quick, easy college meals on a budget. All my stuff is very cheap, very easy, and very delicious. That of course is the key, because I love my food. And so I was on Fox and Friends, and I went to New York and was on their morning show, and then Wendell saw me once I was in the Athens newspaper. We got together. We've been having a lot of fun ever since. So you might as well, you can go check me out. I'm on Facebook, all that stuff, just like Wendell and his show. It's all very easy to find, very fun. And these are starting to boil. That's what you want. You want the water to start boiling so that everything can come together. And you can season your vegetables before you start cooking them. If you're using oil or butter or something, season them while you're cooking them. But when you do it in water, you can season them, but the water pretty much just washes it away. So I let everything cook and get to where it's good and tender, and that's how you tell by the mushrooms they're good and tender. But you want to get everything good and tender, strain it, and let it all sit there for a second. Then you can throw it back in the pan with a little heat. You can turn the heat down after everything's cooked, and then you can start doing, I'm going to do a little Italian seasoning, salt, pepper, parsley, whatever you want. You can do seasoned salt, cayenne pepper if you want a little kick, or soy sauce. Pull the water out once you strain everything, and then you can put some soy sauce in there if you want the salt. But after all that, throw it back in there like I said, and then it's ready to go right out the pan. Alright, this is starting to boil good. Alright, it's been about 3-4 minutes, just like the mushrooms. Everything's gotten cooked down. You can see how it's starting to get a little transparent, how the squash is starting to fall apart like that. That is very, very good. And the cucumbers are starting to get a little see-through. You can tell, very nice. I'll leave a little bit. You know, you can, if you want the cucumber, the crunchiness to stay, cook those a little less than everything else. But if you don't mind the crunchiness, if you like the crunchiness, or if you do not like the crunchiness, keep cooking them, and that will go away. All right, so I'm gonna take these and I'm gonna dump them right in the strainer, right on top of the mushrooms. All right, those are all going right there. And I still got my little cup of water that I kept right on the side. Put a little bit more in there. And I gotta throw my zucchini on top. And there's less in here, so these will not take very long. Should not take very long at all. And this is a straight veggie meal, but you can, you know, like tonight I'm gonna put all this, I'll mix it all in together, and I'll just put it next to my my meal for tonight. You know, pork chops, chicken, steaks. I'm gonna have some steaks tonight. I'm gonna throw this right in there with the steaks, right next to the steaks with a little cheese on top. It'll be very, very delicious. Or you can just eat it by itself. Like I said earlier, you know, you throw it on top of some white rice, some dirty rice, Mexican rice, anything you want. Throw it inside of a taco. Have a nice veggie quesadilla. You can throw these in between 2 tortillas, taco, quesadillas, anything. This is very, and I always make a lot of it because it warms up nicely. So you just cook it all, eat what you want, throw the rest in a Tupperware, pull it out the next day, warm it up. It's very, very good. Warms up very well. All right, so it's been about 2-3 minutes, just like the rest of it. They all go about the same time for the zucchini. And you can start seeing when you throw zucchini in here, there's nothing in the middle of it. And once they're good and cooked, you can see that you get like the center of it becomes transparent. Sorry, I can't talk tonight. It becomes a little transparent, so you can, that's when you know it's good and ready. So you take that, and you want to throw that right in your strainer as well. Make sure you get it all out, because you want all that water out, because you don't want the water taken away into your seasonings or anything like that. That would not be good. So we'll throw that right there. We can turn that down. Turn your heat down. Make sure all the water's out of it. And just dump everything back in. I've got the squash, cucumbers, zucchini, and mushrooms all in the pan together now. I just want to take that and spread it around a little bit. Try to get a nice even surface. I'm going to take some salt. And if you put soy sauce in here, make sure there's no water in there. You do the exact same thing, but then you throw soy sauce in the bottom of the pan before you put your veggies in here. And then you don't want to salt, because the soy sauce has a lot of salt, a lot of sodium, so that'll be plenty of salt, trust me. So you pour that in there, and you pour some pepper on top. And then a little Italian seasoning. Right on top. And a little parsley. If you don't have parsley, it's not a necessity. I put parsley on almost everything. So put that on there. Salt, pepper, Italian seasonings, pretty much the major things you need. And you try to flip it all over, and you can throw it back in this pan. And the mushrooms that came out first that have been sitting there for about 10 minutes, they're getting hot again. Everything's going good. I'm going to do like this. That was now you've got the good natural flavor from all the different veggies. And another good one to throw in here is broccoli. I don't think I mentioned that earlier. Broccoli is very good to throw in here. That will cook, and when you put the water in there, it's almost like steaming it. So it cooks everything very thoroughly and through, so it's not like you're eating any raw broccoli, because nobody wants that. Alright, you got that all good like that. And there you go. You're good to go. And you got colors in there, so it makes it look like you made this big elaborate side, and it's all beautiful and colorful, and you really just cut up some veggies and threw them in a pan with some water, and then strained them and threw them back in there with some salt and pepper. So it's very easy, very delicious. I'm going to eat some cucumbers right now. And another thing you can do with this, more salt. Needs a little more salt. But another thing you can do with these is, instead of fresh veggies, instead of like getting them and cutting them all up and everything, if you're really pressed for time, you can get just frozen veggies. Just a couple bags of frozen veggies at your grocery store. Throw them all in there. And if they're frozen, you don't need to put water in the pan. You just throw them in there, and once they thaw, then they'll bring their the water from the frozen, from the ice and everything, and from the ice, and and that'll be all your liquid, so you'll be good to go. Alright, and y'all make sure y'all check out the Wendell Show and Wendell, and go to my website, Cookin for College, and have fun at Disney. How's Cookin for College?